Hello, I know you're reading the thumbnail in the title of the video and you're thinking to yourself, AEW All Out Predictions? This guy likes wrestling? Well, yeah, actually, I've loved wrestling my whole life. Been watching AEW for the past couple weeks now. I think now it's a couple months. I've been trying to get back into wrestling. Took a good long break from it where I wasn't watching consistently, mostly kind of because I was trying to get back into WWE during a really bad time. And I know they're kind of changing things, going back for the better. But in the past couple months, I have been watching AEW, which I did check out the last time I started watching, like 2020, I think. 2020. Took a break though. Now I'm good. All in for watching AEW. Also, I just realized I made a pun, all in. Anyway, it wasn't intentional. But yeah, we're here to talk about AEW All Out coming to Chicago, Illinois this Sunday, or if this video isn't uploaded before midnight today, I guess. And we're going to be looking at the matches for the night, and I'm going to be giving my predictions as to what I think is happening. Next time I'll try to do a review, because I was going to do a review of Dynamite and Rampage, and the couple matches that happened in Dark and Elevation this week too, that I thought were pretty good. But this time around, we're just going to stick with AEW All Out predictions. So I'm going to start with the 0 hour matches. Here we go. I don't know the order of these matches exactly, so I'll just go through the ones that I saw listed. We got Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii. A match that seems to be kind of a rematch, a part two between the two of them from New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I've never seen the original match before. Obviously, Kingston's been kind of off TV due to a suspension with some problems. If you want to look that up, you can. I'm not going to really get into it. Really, I have no expectations for this match. I think it'll be good, but honestly, I'm guessing here as to who will win, and I'm going to say Ishii, just because I've never seen the dude wrestle. It seems to be he's a strong style wrestler, though, so that'll be interesting. But as far as who wins, I don't know. I'll just be down for the really exciting match. Next up is Pac versus Kip Sabian for I think it's the All-Atlantic Championship, even though it, covers the entire globe, so it should just kind of be international, but whatever. Kip Sabian, for the past couple months now, has been sitting on the sidelines with that box over his head. Underrated over it, I think is what it's called, or what it says on there. Either way, we just recently saw that he attacked Pac, finally, causing him to lose. Him and Death Triangle to lose the chance for the Trios Championship. And so Pac is going to be defending against Kip Sabian. Another really fun match. Haven't seen Kip Sabian wrestle in a long time. So, honestly, I don't see the title changing hands. I think Pac will win this. I think if we do see the championship change hands, it probably won't be for long. Pac will definitely be going against Kip Sabian either way, whether he wins or loses this match. So it'll be just fun to see this feud continue. I think it's a little weird to have their title, or rather Pac's title, on the line so early. I think it should have just been a match between the two, but I guess if you want to add that little bit to make the already jam-packed all-out pay-per-view a little more exciting. Plus, this is one of the free matches for 0 hours, so we'll see. Next up, probably my favorite wrestler intro in AEW right now, Hook, defending the FTW Championship against Cool Hand Angelo of the JAS, of which I'm getting increasingly more and more tired of because they're just kind of doing the same stuff over and over again, but whatever. I don't see Hook losing this. He is skyrocketing to the top of popularity. He is so over in every crowd, and he's, for me too. I honestly, when I started watching, I did not know who he was. I saw he was doing the Hookhausen stuff. I think when I started watching, it was kind of the end of Hookhausen, I guess. If that's over, there's really no confirmation whether it is. Just kind of feels like Danhausen's been doing his weird little spots everywhere else, and Hook's kind of now focused on his FTW Championship that he just won. I don't see Hook losing it, though. I think it's too early, and more importantly, I think that undefeated streak for him is really interesting. If Cool Hand Angelo wins this, I mean, truly an upset for everyone. But yeah, will it be a fun match? Definitely. Will it be a fast match? Probably. Hook tends to have a lot of these really quick matches, so we'll see. All right, last of the 0 hour matches, at least as far as I could find, I don't think there are any more though, is Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara versus Ortiz and Ruby Soho for the, I think it's AAA intergender titles, or belts rather. Another one of those matches that, It'll be fun, maybe? Not really. We've seen this match already, just minus the titles on the line for the past, I think, 2 Rampages now, and 1 Dark, I believe, like a couple weeks ago. Something of the or something similar where it was like Ruby Soho with Ortiz versus Ty Mello with Sammy Guevara. Again, really tired of this stuff. I'm sorry to sound like such a hater of the Jericho Appreciation Society, and it's not even really that I dislike it entirely. I do like where some elements of the storyline has gone when it relates to each of the wrestlers having their own feuds, but it kind of all boils down to them kind of having the same ideas over and over again thrown at different wrestlers, and it doesn't really make the faction feel strong because they have no presence in a lot of the matches recently. I think the last time we saw them was Blood and Guts really do something that felt like or no, sorry, not Blood and Guts, the Shark Week special event for Dynamite, whatever that was called. It was really like the last time that we saw them do something that felt like the JAS could be dangerous. But since then, it's just kind of been them fighting different matches here and there. And Ruby Soho, like, loosely tied to the Blackpool Combat Club, although we don't really know if she's a part of it because she is a part of it, or more so through, like, Eddie Kingston aligning himself with them, which he also isn't even really a part of that faction. So I don't know. As far as who I think wins, I don't think the belts are changing hands. It'd be really surprising if they do, especially because they're AAA titles. They're not AEW titles. I don't see them changing hands. So let's move on to the actual main pay-per-views matches. Yet again, I'm going off of a list of the matches. I don't know if necessarily this is the order that they're going to appear on Sunday or tonight, whatever. But this is definitely just what I have listed, so we'll see. First one I have is FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns. A weird match, but definitely one that'll be fun. I haven't seen the Motor City Machine Guns in a long time. I used to watch Impact back when they were still TNA. I think they were starting to transition to Impact the last time I watched them. But yeah, been a long time since I've seen those two, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Yeah, it's been a long time. So this will be fun, though, honestly. I know that there's been a lot of talk of, like, why does this match happen? And FTR, or specifically Dax Harwood, had a little promo bit on Rampage this week where he kind of talked about, like, criticizing people on the internet for asking why this match was happening, and I can understand where a lot of people are coming from. This match did just kind of come out of nowhere. Wardlow's been feuding with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and Sonam Singh, and then randomly FTR came out one night and it was like, okay, now we're all going to feud together, and I don't know, it was a little weird, mostly because I feel like Wardlow wasn't really doing anything beforehand that couldn't have started the trajectory towards this match sooner with FTR, like teaming up with them. FTR also wasn't either. Maybe they were doing stuff in other promotions that I just wasn't aware of, but yeah. As far as who wins this, FTR and Wardlow, I think, easily. I think Motor City Machine Guns coming in from a different promotion is definitely putting them at a disadvantage for winning. And Jay Lethal, despite being a really good wrestler, he might try to use Satnam Singh or Sanjay Dutt to help him. He has in, like, matches in the past on both Rampage and Dynamite and the other special event nights and stuff. So I could totally see Jay Lethal doing something to mess around with the ending to try and win it for himself. But I don't know. I don't see him winning necessarily, him and the Motor City Machine Guns. But regardless of all the criticism around where this match came from, and like I said, even though I was talking about like it just kind of did come out of nowhere and it could have come sooner, I am still excited. This match will be really fun. So yeah, FTR and Wardlow is who I have to win for this one. Next up, at least as far as listed for me, is Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Ricky Starks might be the only other contender, I would say personally, for best AEW entrance theme, period. I mean, I love his entrance so much. Just the saddest breaking of a tag team a couple weeks ago on Dynamite. Just heartbreaking with the most amazing promo I've ever heard Ricky Starks pull. He pulls off great promos regardless, but that promo, you could really feel it in him, and it just, it hurt. Your heart was ripped out, and now we finally have these two after weeks of having QT Marshall in the factory kind of weave themselves into the storyline, sort of, just to kind of, build up the tension but keep them apart from each other. This last week on Rampage, we finally saw them fight each other, and the referees had to come in and break them apart, because now we get to see it all laid out at All Out in pay-per-view format. I see Ricky Starks pulling an upset win. I've seen a lot of people say that they want Powerhouse Hobbs to win, or that they even see him winning, and I could totally see that. He has all the power, he has all the size. I think something emotional is going to happen between these two. Towards the end of the match, where they realize their history with each other, Ricky Starks is going to capitalize on it and just completely flat out win against Powerhouse Hobbs. Just sucker punch him like he did in that promo. I can't wait to see it, though, regardless. I don't care who wins this one, because it'll just be a great match. But if you're asking me who I think will win, Ricky Starks. Next up, we got House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. I like the prospect of this match. I wish we would have seen Miro interact a little more with the House of Black. He obviously, as well, cost them the House of Black, the Trios tournament. But either way, I actually am happy to see this match, and I'm happy to see Miro wrestling again, because I feel like, personally, it's been forever since I've really seen him wrestle. It's just been a lot of those recorded promos where he's, sitting in darkness talking about pagans and whatever. But, yeah. As for House of Black, I don't know. I couldn't get a clear answer based on what I was looking up. I felt like I saw a lot of random Twitter posts and random Reddit posts that didn't really give me a clear answer, but it seems Malachi Black was asking for his release to deal with his mental and physical health, and apparently some reports that he might have considered just flat out not wrestling, but so far it seems like this Sunday we're going to see him at All Out in Chicago. Whether that means he wins or whether they win, I don't know. I have them to win, House of Black, personally, just to get a heel upset over Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin, mostly because I think you have Sting, who, while he'll do some very nice and crazy spots, and he will wrestle, we're talking about Malachi Black and Brody King and Buddy Matthews, who are three just powerhouses of strength. And the only person really you have to combat against that is Miro. So if you're asking me who I think is going to win, House of Black, either way, it'll be another one of those fun matches. But I don't know where this puts Malachi Black, whether those rumors are true or if they're not even rumors and they just are truth. I feel like I need to hear him say it or Tony Khan say it, so I'm really putting a grain of salt on this. But where that puts them if he wins, I don't know. Because I am really liking this little faction and how they've been playing their story along, and corrupting Julia Hart into their whole group was a really fun and exciting moment. So yeah, I see House of Black winning this, but I could totally see Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin pulling out something too. Next up, we have the Casino Ladder match, which I actually forgot to write out all the participants of the ladder match, although they should be on screen, as well as a surprise entrant, the Joker card, or the Joker that they say we don't know who it is. There hasn't really been a lot of hype built up towards making us feel like the Joker could be someone important. Whether that means, it'll be someone exciting and they're just trying to make you feel like, oh, don't pay attention to it. We'll have someone, it'll just be a surprise entrant. You won't know who. And they're really subduing people's expectations to give a good shock and pop for it. I don't know. Personally, I could see that happening. But as far as between the members that are fighting in this match, the person I have to win is Andrade El Idolo. I feel like he would pull out, Roosh and anyone else really to help him just flat out win and cheat to win. But I could totally see a surprise entrant being a new debut in AEW or someone we haven't seen in a while. Whether that means MJF, I'm not saying. That would be probably the most shocking thing, although I feel like personally we haven't heard anything about MJF in months, and I feel like pulling him out at this randomly, while it would be really exciting, feels incredibly unlikely. But I'm saying it here on the 1% chance that I'm right, randomly. But I could totally see it going to either, like I said, Andrade El Idolo or someone new, whoever is going to come in as the Joker, whoever that ends up being. If not, whatever, this will still be a fun little match. Puts up a good opportunity for whoever wins to go for whoever wins at the end of the night, the AEW Championship. Next up, you got the AEW Women's Title Championship going on the line in a four-way match. Originally was supposed to be Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm, as there was build-up to it, but then, sadly, Thunder Rosa is out for a little while to deal with some injuries, which is super unfortunate because it seemed like her and Toni Storm's storyline was finally going somewhere very exciting, and now we're not going to really see that for a while. As far as who I think will win, we'll get to that in a second, but we have it between Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter. Personally, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't... What's up with Toni Storm? I feel like I've been watching her for weeks on everything. Dark, Elevation, and regular Dark, Dynamite and Rampage, and I just feel like I'm missing something from her. I don't know what it is. The couple matches she's had with Thunder Rosa were okay. The one that they had at Forbidden Door felt so flat for some reason, and I know that they're both better than that. Like, personally, maybe that has to deal with the injury thing of Thunder Rosa, and I'm not sure. That's, so far removed from what was originally happening. And when we finally heard that news, so I don't know if that plays into it, or maybe they just had a really flat match, but I feel like I haven't seen Toni Storm do anything super exciting these past, 2 months now since then? If she ends up winning this, I'll be, I don't know, kind of disappointed, just because I feel like that's a very obvious win. If I were to say who I think were to win, I think it's between these two. Hikaru Shida, which I know she was originally champ for quite a while, and we've kind of seen her be put on the back burner. I feel like every time I would go, where did she go? And then I'd find out she was in like a random dark match. I'd be very disappointed. But I could totally see her winning it and setting it up as a new feud with someone else, with Toni Storm or whoever ends up coming next to try and take the belt. But something that I'm saying, again, this is one of those 1% chance that this will happen. And just on the off chance that it does happen, I'm saying it because, man, it would be really exciting. Jamie Hayter winning it. And I'm only going to say that the reason I say this is it sets up a really interesting storyline between Jamie Hayter and basically the entire women's division, but more specifically with Britt Baker. And because it's just an upset win that you could totally not see coming if you're not thinking about it actively. But I could totally see Jamie Hayter winning it, owning the title for just a good long while and fighting against pretty much everyone, looking at her as sort of this underdog or this person who doesn't deserve it, and her putting on a really good heel persona. I would love to see that play out, especially creating tension between her and Britt Baker, who she's been aligning herself with for a while, and that would be super fun. So I'm just putting it out there as maybe she could win it. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But on the 1% chance that it does, man, that's going to be awesome. Next up, the finals of the Trios Championship Tournament. We have Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, which I'm just going to refer to as the Elite from now on, versus Hangman and the Dark Order, specifically John Silver and Alex Reynolds, because we saw recently Ten's injury has taken a toll on him and he can't compete, and then Uno was beaten down by Andrade. I think it was this week on Rampage, or Dynamite, and now we have Hangman stepping up to be that third member for the rest of the Dark Order. Everywhere I've seen so far has said Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are going to win it. Absolutely. I don't see that happening. Here's why. Kenny Omega's finally back, and clearly he's injured, and it's a triumphant return between him and the Young Bucks. We've got that fanfare going. We've got all the crowd behind them, but I think that I see this as an upset win for the Dark Order to finally solidify themselves as a faction again, as well as having Hangman in there. And if they need to swap out Hangman with, Ten or Uno, so that Kenny Omega and Hangman can go back to having their single stuff and doing whatever they want against whoever they want. We just saw that match between Kenny Omega, or rather the Elite, versus Will Ospreay and United Empire, and that was, Aussie Open, and that was a fun match, and we saw that it was kind of a little tension between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay building even more, and by little I mean a lot. But yeah, now we finally get to see, maybe that goes into full effect in another promotion, or we just see Kenny Omega doing something singles on his own, and the Young Bucks going back to doing what they do. So yeah, I saw a lot of people saying the Elite win. I don't think so, honestly. I think it's an upset win to really get people over for the Dark Order again, to put them in a spot that makes them feel super strong and like contenders for a little while, and so they can keep moving that trios belt around and having them prove themselves, as well as, like I said, Hangman and Kenny Omega going back to doing whatever it is they want to do in their singles careers. Next up, we got the TNT Championship, as well as Jade Cargill's unbeaten streak on the line against Athena. The build for this match has been weird. Stokely Hathaway has been doing his own stuff, and we haven't seen what that's leading up to. I can't wait to see it. I love seeing him go around basically during promos and during matches and recruiting whoever he wants. But we haven't really seen a lot of Jade doing anything but more trash talking of Athena. I know Chris Statlander was going to be a part of this, but then, of course, all of these unfortunate injuries have been happening pretty much one after the other, so she's been kind of out of it, which maybe that's the reason we haven't seen a lot of the build for this, because originally she was going to be a part of it, and they didn't really know how to put Athena back into it but by herself. But now we're starting to see, Athena going after it, and she's been trash talking to Jade Cargill's face. Who I think is going to win this, I'm not sure. I think Jade Cargill is just another one of those stars in the entirety of AEW Women's Division, the AEW Women's Division, where it feels like her unbeaten streak is just going to keep going, and her holding on to that championship for as long as she can is meant to be this very dominant reign over a league that hasn't really put up a good challenge. I think Athena's a great wrestler, and I think she's done a lot of work to prove herself to both the crowd and to the women's division storyline-wise to kind of feel like a good contender, but I don't see her really winning this for some reason. I don't know why, but I just don't see that streak ending so soon. I think that's genuinely a very shocking change for something against an opponent that, while great, isn't on that same level, I think, as Jade Cargill. So yeah, I don't see the title changing hands in this match. And now the long-awaited match against this just heated rivalry between Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, where we've seen so many different changes between Luchasaurus going heel and being kind of a Kane, facsimile, I guess would be the word, to being suspended off TV for kicking a AEW crew in the chest and all that stuff, to the constant slandering from Christian Cage directly to Jack Perry's family. We're finally seeing these two battle it out in the ring. I see this being a bloodbath. I see this being just an absolute slobber knocker of a match, as JR would say. I see these two just beating each other, Christian Cage trying to pull something to cheat, maybe even running out into the stands and trying to run away, but no, Jungle Boy ain't gonna let that happen. I see him winning this match totally. He has so much hate, so much animosity, just everything in the world. He's been trying to basically kill Christian Cage in a bunch of promos for weeks now, at one point almost running him and Tony Schiavone over with a car going so fast. So I would be so surprised if Christian Cage somehow came out of this in any way with a win, even an upset like a roll-up win. I don't see it happening. I see Jungle Boy just plowing through him. There's way too much heat between the two of them that I love for Jungle Boy to just lose this that easily. So I can't wait to see this one. Next up, for the AEW Tag Team World Champions, Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed. We've seen Swerve in Our Glory kind of, win the belts in a very shocking and exciting manner, and then kind of not really had a lot of good title defenses against anyone on anything, really, on Rampage or Dynamite. Honestly, kind of feels like a lot of their matches were on Rampage, more so than Dynamite, which was a bummer. We saw them go through, between Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee going through their little spat where they were kind of hating each other and distrustful. Now we're finally seeing them together with the tag team belts going up against the team that I legitimately see winning, the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed have also had their own interesting storyline between them and the S Boys, or the Gun Club, whichever one you want to call them. And then having Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn kind of switch sides between them, finally having that turn. We haven't seen what's come of the Gun Club so far because they've signed with Stokely Hathaway, turning on their own father. But now we have the Acclaimed trying to go for the tag team titles, like that gold against Swerve in Our Glory, and I see this being an upset win easily. The Acclaimed are so over with every crowd now. They have naturally transformed from a heel group that felt very annoying, oh, here's their entrance, here they come again, to transforming into this amazing babyface where everyone gets excited to hear Max Caster's new verses. So I can't wait to see if this ends up happening. I truly do see it happening, honestly. I think it just adds to the Acclaim being just a great tag team in general, and more importantly, putting that extra shine on their well-deserved work, giving them credit where credit is due. Not that Swerve in Our Glory hasn't really earned the titles, but I feel like they haven't done anything since, at least booking-wise, no one's put them up against anyone that has put them as a threat, except for now the Acclaimed, so can't wait to see him win it. Good luck out there. Next up, in a string of Jericho matches happening against people for whatever reason, Chris Jericho versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. JS versus BCC. Tell me how many times you've seen this match in the past couple months, because I'm telling you, too many times. Well, I think this will be a fun technical match between the two. I do think Jericho will pull out, a lot more of his stuff that we saw him doing against Jon Moxley as the Lion Tamer Jericho. I don't know if I'm really all that excited for this match. Not saying that I won't have fun watching it, but I feel like I've been seeing this over and over again. This is kind of what I've been talking about by feeling fatigued and tired of seeing stuff with the JAS. They haven't done anything new. They've just been this meandering crew of people who've been doing this match against the BCC. Then you've got William Regal, who ends up being on the commentary table for like maybe 2 sentences total, and to say hello to Excalibur, hello Tony Schiavone, hello Jim Ross, and then that's it. The amount of times I've listened like intently during matches between any of the Blackpool Combat Club members and anyone else on the roster, and they invite William Regal out to the commentary, I'm waiting for him to say anything, and he doesn't, and it's so disappointing. And then, like I said, you've got Jericho. He's been putting himself in a lot of these matches. Not necessarily saying that it's his own volition, or his own matches that he's booking necessarily. I don't know if he has any pull for that stuff, but I just feel like I've been seeing Chris Jericho wrestle against people that are in the top for these one-off matches and then moving on to someone else, and it feels so weird, and I'm just kind of done, tired with it. I'm tired of the Jericho Appreciation Society in whole, to be honest. It's just a weird faction, a weird heel faction that isn't really all that annoying. It isn't really all that evil feeling. They just kind of feel like they're always there. They're starting to turn into a jobber faction, and I'm tired of it. So who I think will win? Bryan Danielson, just because he'll outmatch him technically. I think Daniel Garcia is going to come in and switch sides finally, officially, because he's just kind of been on the fence between the two. Sometimes he's helping Danielson out. Sometimes he's helping Jericho out. I think All Out is the time for him to finally get through with it and then switch over. As far as whether I'll be enjoying this match, for sure, up until a point. Okay, looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the undisputed AEW World Championship. As for who I think wins this, CM Punk. And I'll tell you why. This is one of those ones where I'm going to have to detail a little bit for you, okay? It's one of those 1% shots, super upset win things. So, in front of a Chicago crowd, a pretty close to healed CM Punk, I think, is going to win against Jon Moxley. I think we've seen that weird match that lasted, I think it was like 3 minutes or whatever, last week. I think we've seen the promo work from this week's Dynamite between Punk and Moxley. where it just kind of feels weird as to why we're hearing them fight like this. Why did there even have to be a match beforehand where Punk supposedly had an injury that he had to, come back from and find his smile again and all that, whatever, for this to finally happen, because I don't think Punk is 100% healed, to be completely honest. Here's what I think is going to end up happening. CM Punk is going to win the championship. He's going to probably struggle a little bit with his foot against Moxley, sell an injury angle. A lot of these, honestly, just really quick, a lot of these AEW matches have, injury angles, even some of the ones in the 0 hour stuff. Please, enough with the injury stuff. Either they're injured or they're not. Anyway, Punk is going to pull off a surprising win. His foot's going to hurt a little, but you know what? He won it against Moxley, won it for all. However, here's my 1% upset thing that I'm going to say. It has nothing to do with CM Punk winning the championship. I think Punk isn't 100% ready to fight, honestly. I don't think he's 100% ready to wrestle and do full TV stuff like he was a couple months ago. And I think that tonight, on All Out, whether this comes out on Sunday, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to assume it does. So tonight, I think what's going to end up happening, Punk's going to win the championship. Whoever won the casino ladder match is going to cash in. And I think it might be the Joker if it's someone genuinely very exciting. They're going to beat Punk to a pulp and then win the championship. And Punk's going to go off for a little bit longer to heal some more and try to build up that heat between him and whoever won the championship. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to end out this very jam-packed pay-per-view that I honestly don't know how isn't going to run for 4 hours. We're going to see that happen, I think. 1%, maybe. Or it could just be as simple as Punk winning the championship in front of his home crowd, closing out the pay-per-view in a nice little, CM Punk, CM Punk. But regardless, that's my All Out predictions. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you end up watching All Out. I don't know if I'll do a follow-up video on Monday or Tuesday whenever I end up actually watching the pay-per-view in full, because it's 4 hours probably. I mean, this is 11 matches in just the pay-per-view alone. A lot of them have multiple members in it besides just one. Looking at it right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches are either tag matches or multi-people wrestling matches. So I don't know if I'll do a follow-up video. I might on the next weekend review Dynamite and Rampage for you. Just give you a quick little review. I don't know if I'll give it a star rating or something. Just kind of go through it and talk about whether I enjoyed it or not. And like I said, I'll talk more about Dark and Elevation. I feel like it's the thing I don't see on YouTube a lot with AEW, specifically with people who review only really Dynamite. I don't see people talking about Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, and Rampage all in one. I think they're actually all 4 important shows. I have my own opinions about how I would kind of slightly change them a little, but maybe we'll get into that into a later video. I don't know. But hopefully next week I'll review those for you. If there's any exciting matches on Elevation and Dark for those, I'll let you know about them, talk about them, because they're fun. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you have your all-out predictions, please let me know in the comments below. I want to hear them. I want to hear your crazy 1% upsets of whatever match you got. If you've got a crazy theory, if you think suddenly John Cena is going to come out and win against Jade Cargill and Athena for the TNT Championship, please, I want to hear it in the comments so bad. I love hearing these weird, crazy wrestling theories. I've been reading them forever, and I still love reading them for these matches that are it might not happen, but if it does. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Give it a subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and a like as well. If you want to see more stuff like this, as well as I have the show Miscellanea Macabre, which is on a tiny hiatus. Promise everything's moving a little bit till it comes back. Gonna be streaming soon. The weather's finally cooling up, even though we still had a couple weird warm days here. But you can follow me on Twitter at HardBoiledBoi. I believe the next one is letterboxd.com/HardBoiledBoi, in which I review movies pretty much every day now, actually. Just been going through some fun, crappy 1.5 hour movies, or sometimes bigger, substantial ones too, new releases and stuff. But if you want to see my more recent movie reviews, you can go there. It doesn't take long to read. I don't get super in depth on them. Just fun little reviews. Just check out what I'm watching or what I intend to watch, honestly. You can also follow me on Tumblr. I think that's hardboiledboi.tumblr.com. Mostly a lot of movie gifs and horror movie gifs as well, and images and celebrities that I, either enjoy or find attractive or whatever. But I promise no horny posting, okay? And I think the last one is in case you want to email me about anything or just ask a couple questions, whatever, just feel like chatting it up, you can go email me at hardboiledboi@outlook.com. And as always, if you're here on the channel, we have a very nice little ending slogan to always remember: enjoy yourself.